if prettiness is a factor, this is going to be a good day. Okay. It's hot, but boy, it's pretty.
No, it's not yet.
Oh crap, somebody knocked the camera down.
Oh no.
Well, so the goats were not too far away from where we put our pens, which is nice. So it didn't take us long to kind of get them headed that way. I got in front of them and did my little bucket trick with a little bit of corn, and Lisa kind of got behind them and brought them up for the rear. As they got close to the pens, we had some electric net fencing set up that I was talking about on the previous video, and to try to help guide them into the pen. So as they got in the pen, they kind of wanted to turn and come back, so we had a little bit of issue there just for a second. Bottom line was, I don't feel like I had the pen big enough for them to all get into comfortably before they kind of started turning around. So I need to kind of rework that, or I need to add a little to the pen. And that's the beauty of this stuff, is you can add to it as you go along or as you grow. So now we've got them all kind of where they need to be, and we're starting to bring them into the lead up alley. That's where we've kind of already got them. And I'll slowly kind of start moving them up to the crowd area before you go into the working alley or the working chute or that type of thing. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just put enough in here that will fit in the working alley. I don't want to have a bunch standing around in there. Now, did I always get that done perfectly? No, absolutely not. You'll notice as you watch this video, there's some things that I think I can set up a little bit different to make them flow better into that working alley. And that V, it causes those goats to kind of come in, and they're automatically wanting to kind of turn back out from the working alley. And so I think if I can move one of those sides where it's perfectly straight, as they go down the side, they'll just go straight into that working alley. I think they'll load in that a whole lot better. So I'll probably rework that a little bit in the future. But for the most part, it worked really well. You know, the guillotine gates were awesome. Lisa had trouble working them with the rope, that it was hard on her hands and that kind of stuff. But it really, once we got them into the working alley, it was not bad at all. You can see that we're up there putting the sides down and starting our ear tagging process, where we're tagging the females and tagging the males. Now you still have to handle them, but that's why you can put that deal down. That side comes down. Now what that does, I'll tell you this, that when you do that, some of those nannies can jump right out of that thing and will. Not a huge deal for us, because we're not doing anything else to the rest of the goats. We're just trying to work the kids. Now we could have just gone down through there and sorted the nannies and sorted the kids and then brought all the kids back in, but we just felt like it was going to be quickest to kind of do it like this, where we had to get a kid and try to feel if it was a billy or a nanny or a doeling, and then tag it appropriately. So it took us just a little bit to get that done. For me and my back, it helped a lot if I could go ahead and pull them out and just kind of hold them right there on the side, and then Lisa could get a tag in their ear. And they are so athletic that it's just amazing how they can get away from you. So anyway, I just kind of held them there and let Lisa get a tag in them, and then we would move them along. One thing that's different from last year is last year, if you watched the working video, we actually had help while we were doing that video. Scott and Blake, there goes one of the nannies right there, like I was talking about. That's not a big deal for our thing, but you can put that thing back up, the side. But it wasn't, she was just going to have to go back through the chute again by doing that, which I don't necessarily like that because you're kind of doubling up on stress on them. But last year we had help with working the goats, but all we were doing was ear tagging and sorting, and it took us a while with the basically the cattle pens that were modified. This was just Lisa and I, and we brought them through, we tagged them, we sorted them, and then we brought the billies back in and banded them. And we did all that, and we were probably done by 1 o'clock, 1:30, and that's with, we had to stop and take a little bit of a break as far as I had to go eat. I was running out of gas. You can see my shirt right there. It's soaking wet. So we did a little wardrobe change too when we went in and ate, and it really helped us out. And then we came back and we finished banding. We probably only had 10 or 15 left to band, but I told Lisa, I said, I can't go anymore. I gotta go get something to eat. So we went back and ate. But the banding was once we got it kind of figured out, it wasn't nearly as difficult as I thought it would be. Matter of fact, it was simple. One of the things that I learned towards the end, that if you'll grab that sack and pull that sack through the bander first, and then work kind of a nut through, both of them will kind of just shoot through. And that's if you kind of have some bigger testicles that you're having to work with. So it wasn't bad, and it was really nice how we didn't kind of know how to do this, and we didn't watch any videos on it, I guess, which was a mistake, or it might have helped us, but just grabbing them backwards like Lisa's doing there, and she's the perfect height. She's 5'5", and so she doesn't have to bend over. It's very easy for her to do that. Now, if I would have had to do that all day, I'd be dead. My back would kill me. But she was able to hold them like that. Very nice, and it was easy for me to get to what I needed to do. And it kind of took them out of their struggling also. And so it was just, I think it was nice on them, as nice as it can be. And it was great on us. So I will continue to do it like that. The pins, the alley you can see there is just a little bit wide. You know, it allows things to turn around. But I think you're gonna, part of that is the guillotine gates are set at a permanent width. And so it allows that to happen. But I really didn't mind it at all, because you're gonna have to handle them anyway. And so we handled them. And it just wasn't that big a deal. It worked just like we were hoping it would work. There's just a few minor things we would change, kind of how that pre-working alley worked. We want to change that up, but everything else was pretty good. So once we got done, we let the nannies all out, and then just as soon as we could, we got over to the billies and let them out so they would be sure and go with their mamas, because that's critical in this deal. This is the first time we've ever banded goats, but I know with respect to cattle, it's critical that the mamas are there to comfort the babies, and they'll take the stress off the babies faster than any of us can. So it worked really well. But the goats did great. The pens worked great. I think it just was so beneficial. It was very, very important that we went and got those to do this, because we were able to do it on time this year, where we don't have billies going into the hunting season, where, in other words, they're going to breed the nannies and get us off cycle. And that's kind of where we ran into a lot of issues this year. But when the billies came out, you could tell they were a little stiff and walking a little slow, but they'll end up doing just great. We haven't had any issues with it. see them walking out there. They're headed back to the wherever they want to go, I guess. But they're not upset. They're not bawling. They're not running. They're just kind of walking down the road like they always do, like it wasn't a big deal, which that's outstanding. Well, here's the next day after the working. When I got down here, there were several billies getting up, kind of walking away. There's one walking away right there. I don't know if I can zoom in on it or not. Right there. Here's one coming in right here with the spot. So, there's not any dead, which is good. You know, the best thing for them is to, at least if they're like cattle, is to get them up and get them to walk around. And I don't see any laying up here close like they haven't been up. There's another billy standing over there with the spot on it. That's another billy. He's getting around okay. He's a little slow. They're going to be sore. That's expected. They're going to be walking a little funny. There's some over here walking a little funny as they're going down through here. But like I say, that's expected. I think the main thing is they need to get up. The old does, old nannies have backed up a little, probably from being in the pen almost half a day yesterday. But everything looks good. I really expected, with what I've learned on the goats, to come down here and have some that were just not in the best of shape as far as alive. So I'm happy. I don't see any that are dead. That's good. I can hear some over there in the woods. I'll drive over there and look at those. Well, everything's good, other than the goat's not knowing what stick tights are. That one right there has got a severe education. Old girl right here should know too. She obviously doesn't.